Hello,
Hi,
Stefania.
how you doing?
So far, so good.
Yeah,
Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. So maybe we have had the chance to connect in many ways, but we have never seen ourselves.
That's
So
true.
it's really good to connect with you. And I'm really intrigued by your story actually because I have, uh, I mean, followed you, so I know a little bit about yourself. But for those of our students who do not know you, I would like to ask you if you can introduce yourself and then help us also understand what brought you to OPIT. So, how did you start your experience with us? If there's any turning point in your journey that also led you to embrace computer science and start this program.
Absolutely. So, first of all, again, thank you, Stefania, for this opportunity to share my experience. I always take advantage for this workshop or live event because I think that people can always take, inspiration or also some insight from people that already went through the same thing or the same process they're looking to go through. So yes, nice to meet you guys. My name is Levi. Um, well, I've been so let's start from the beginning. I used to be a professional athlete. I used to be a sprinter. So that was my whole life. I would say I've been having, I would say, three lives so far. That was my first life. I was a sprinter for the national team, but for different injuries, I have, let's say, I had to reinvent myself. So I had to quit my sporting career to start my quote unquote working career. So for the last 6, 7 years, I've been working in different countries in Europe, such as Malta, Spain, Bulgaria, and Hungary, where I'm right now, working in different role in different department in the gaming industry. Okay, so the gaming industry, if you're not aware about what is pretty much the industry which allow people to just place bets or just enjoy different casino games and so on. So in this industry, I've been working in different departments like operation, trading, and eventually I ended up on the product management department. And if you don't know what is the product management department, or the product manager is pretty much, let's say they call it the CEO of the product, which pretty much is the person which is entitled or just has the responsibility to develop and maintain and eventually further a product within a company. Let's say that you have your iPhone, and probably in Apple there is a product manager um, appointed for the menu or for the home screen. So let's say that was I was doing, and I've been doing that for 2 3 years, and that role pretty much allowed me to be at the center of different team. Marketing,
Yeah.
engineering, content, design, and so on. But most importantly, I was really communicating with engineering team, and talking, interacting with them as someone that is not technical. Sometimes I felt like I was missing certain point that I could, maybe bring value if I would understand them, if I would have understood them better. And that's why actually the last year I decided to take the leap of faith and looking for an opportunity, in this case a university that would allow me to just fill the gap, the technical gap that I had, which is the reason why I joined OPIT the last year.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I really appreciated something that you were doing, explaining what some positions were, because sometimes we take it for granted, but some of our students might be really at the early stages of their career and that they might be interested, for example, in knowing some positions and what their responsibilities intake. So thank you really for sharing your story. Now, I'll bring also on stage with us Hilary. Um, Hello, Hilary.
Hi
Hello,
everyone.
Hilary. Hilary is in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm in the Netherlands.
Awesome. It's so nice to connect with you, Hilary. I was talking to you like some few weeks ago, and you were telling me about your story from medicine. So we have two interesting stories here on the screen.
Yeah.
Can you mind sharing your own story, your own journey also with our students, and how you also landed here in OPIT and started your programming bachelor, your bachelor's in computer science?
Of course. Hi everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Hillary. Currently studying at OPIT, and for me, it was very the change was it was near drastic because I was a medical student in Ukraine. I was in my third year when the war happened, and I, for one, am not like when the war happened. It was like, okay, what other schools do I need to switch to? Medical schools. I wasn't thinking tech at this point. Um, in Nigeria, where I'm from, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. That was my dream. Like I wanted to do that. I didn't know what it was like, but I was just someone that liked math. So like what's the closest profession to that, like what would be interesting to me, like how would I think, and that's why I wanted to do that. But for my parents, they were like, as a girl, as a young woman, it's better for you to do medicine because like that's what would get you the most opportunities as a woman, like that's what would make you stand out. You would never look for a job if you're a doctor, you would never do this, you would never have to worry. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm not one to complain or like, uh, I always felt like there is nothing that I couldn't do if I put my mind to it. I could have done law. I didn't care. It wasn't something I minded. So in medical school, I was pretty good at it. Like I already planned my journey out. Like I was gonna do medicine, be a psychiatrist, even though my parents weren't too keen on that because it's like you're gonna be dealing with people with mental health issues. But yeah, that was what I was intrigued by from school. I had done my first medical exam, like before you get into the practical work and you can do your IT. I had done that already, and then the war happened. So at this point, it was like, okay, the curriculum in Ukraine was different from the curriculum in the EU. Going back to Nigeria was not an option. Uh, my mom was like, no, the education system there is not as great. So look for another school in the EU. I tried; they were too expensive, or I would have to start from the beginning, which I didn't mind. So I tried a bunch of different options, and it was like this took me 2 years, by the way. So in 2024, I still didn't have a school that I was going to. I had so many admission letters, like willing to take me on, but starting from scratch, and then I couldn't afford the fees. So I knew that I had to find another option. I needed to switch to something or do something where I needed to be in school and be working at the same time to support myself. Um, and so I saw OPIT. It was one of the options for me. I wasn't too sure. Then I started asking questions. I would always email them, or what's this about? But before this, I had gone online, saw an ad for programming, and I was intrigued by it. Like, what's this about? Like, how does this work? And I saw I could use Free Code Camp to learn some things. And then I started researching. This was supposed to take me a couple of hours, but a couple of hours turned into 3 days, and then turned into a week, and then 3 months. And then I was like, okay, I could become a software developer. Yeah, this is interesting. And then I invested in She Codes. I started on that as well. They had some courses. I did the basic, the plus, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this is where my head is at. So if I'm gonna switch it all, it's going to be to computer science because there was a passion in this that I had not experienced in medicine. I was always such a go with the flow person, but with this, it was like, yeah, this is really what I want to do. I was invested, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I had already started working production jobs, so it was just what school could I do on the side as well that would be able to accommodate my schedule. And that's how OPIT came to be. After asking so many questions to the administrative department, and I was impressed. Like I liked the structure. When I look at the course material, I liked it. I hope that I would, enjoy it. So I was like, let's see how the first term would be. And after the first term, the second term, now I'm in the third term, and I'm really loving it. Hoping to do my master's too as well.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing this with us, Hilary. Since I connect with students on a regular basis, I know that there are many students who have completely different path. I mean, and then they decide to start their journey in the tech field. Can you help us understand what helped you, Hillary? Because I've been connecting with students who have experience, for example, in the entertaining world, in the medical field as well. Students who are just starting and they're asking themselves, how can I leverage what my previous background, okay, and how do I even propose myself to companies? How can I build my own value proposition for companies? Because let's be honest with ourselves, the market is really tough. It's
Yeah.
very competitive. I was just talking to a colleague yesterday. We were saying that in the past, when you were even searching for internship opportunities, you would have in mind that you will get that opportunity where they will train you, but now it's like the market has become so competitive that employers are already searching for people who are experienced before they even start that internship. So I know that recently you start also to experiences. So if you mind sharing with two companies for defense and Israel. So, what has helped you to step into your new positions? I know that you do have experience, but these new positions in the tech field, what helped you to pivot from your previous experience?
Wow. So, um, pivoting was easy, to be honest. I had the passion for technical stuff. So, that was at that point I had said, okay, I'm putting medicine on the back burner, and technicalities is where I would like to put my focus on. There was a 6 month period where I was not working. I had quit my job because that wasn't what I wanted to do. I was doing a lot of production based roles, and I would get back home and I would be tired. I'll have to also get on the platform to do my tasks, assignments, and stuff. Uh, it was very difficult, very physically and mentally tasking. So I was like, during this period where I'm looking for another job, I wanted a technical job. While I was in school, I knew it was hard, but I also knew it wasn't impossible. So I was on the way to get my degree with OPIT. I started doing the Google Cybersecurity Certificate as well, so that I would have something at least, a little bit of leverage to say, okay, I have this certification. I'm not coming empty-handed. I am in school as well. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm willing to offer. I needed to be able to sell myself properly. Um, and what pushed me with this certification was that I had in my mind, like, when I'm done with this, I would get a job immediately after. That was what my mindset was. And then I was done with the certification and I started applying and I got a bunch load of rejections. I was like, what's going on? Why? I would ask different people, like, okay, could I get the reason for this? And I would be told, oh, there are more qualified people. Okay, no problem. I remember I reached out to you, Stefania, as well on LinkedIn, because at that time I was reaching out to a lot of people on LinkedIn to ask for advice. This is what I have. This is what I've done. I've put my best foot forward. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything that I need to know? Also, like, don't be afraid to ask people for advice. Don't be
Yes.
afraid to step out of your comfort zone to ask you know, the worst they can say is no, and then you move on to the next person. So I got a bunch load of advice as well. And I remember you told me OPIT was preparing something um for students, internship opportunities and stuff. You're working on something. And I got an email shortly after that they had this internship opportunity with for defense, cybersecurity, which was what I wanted. Like I wanted to be or experience working in the cybersecurity field, have like some knowledge on it. And then I sent in my application and I got it. I think there were two spots. And I was one of the people who was doing or were selected for the internship. And the things that we did on the internship, what we were taught to do, the projects that we were given, gave me like experience. It gave me something to talk about when I was doing an interview for another company, Euro, which is my current job for IT operations. I was originally called on for customer support, but what I was able to put on my CV from my experience at Forward Defense and working or studying at OPIT gave me a kind of leverage to um, interview for this other role, IT operations, which is what I'm currently doing. So they would ask questions like, um, what technical problems have you faced? And then I would go on and on about working with the cloud and how it wouldn't work and searching for different solutions and not giving up, having to try and try again. And it's intrigued them. Also, people coming from other backgrounds like medicine, maybe sports related and stuff, you're more interesting than the people from like the traditional background from tech. They're like, okay, it was so interesting to them that I came from a medical background and I studied medicine. I had experience with like PHV and I went through the war in Ukraine and I was still persisting and going forward. And it's very bold to switch courses. I don't know how it's very bold to switch career paths is the thing. It's bold. It's brave, it's courageous. It's something that not a lot of people do and a lot of people have to think through before they take that step. So the fact that you were able to persist, achieve so much in this new field, or you were able to go and do a whole other degree apart from the one you started with, is something interesting. They ask you questions like, oh, what provoked that thought process, or um did you not like the previous one, or it gets them, and it's something to talk about with the people that are interviewing you. It's something to make you distinguished and unique and stand out. So yeah, basically, it was very interesting to for them to hear that someone so young was doing medicine before and then went through the war situation, all of a sudden is doing tech and has an internship in cybersecurity, is doing all these things. It makes you a unique candidate. So, yeah,
Okay, that's so interesting, Hillary. I would just like to highlight some things you say because I'm interested in what you mentioned. So it is not just about the technical skills; it's also about the soft skills. So
yeah,
even if you've had experience in other fields, what is very important to understand is what you bring on the table, even from your past experience, to understand what are some of the skills that you have developed that can be relevant for the field that you're applying for. So knowing your value help you also understand how you can differentiate yourself from other people. Because when you apply for a position, I've been there. I've worked as a talent acquisition specialist, and I've been receiving my 500, 600 resumes and interviewing a lot of people who have the same backgrounds, even sometimes. So the most important thing is to answer to this question: why am I the right person? And understand your value. When you understand your value, you are able to communicate that to the person who is in front of you. When you understand what you are passionate about, what is your aspiration, what you're looking for, it's easy. to make other people understand that you have the light in your eyes when you start talking about what you are passionate about. And then while you were talking, you talked about training, uh, about practicing. I always mention to the practice, 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 because especially in the tech field, employers want to see what you can do, not only what you can talk about, but
Yeah.
what you can do. So it's very important that you practice. You mentioned she code. You mentioned some projects that you started working on at the early beginning so that you can train yourself. So when you're coming from a different field and you start a program like this, it's very important that you get curious about what you're doing and you start practicing and practicing and practicing, doing your own even side projects, because at the end of the day, when you go for interviews, employers would definitely ask you questions about how you were able, how in what context you practice what you are telling them. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I don't know, Levi, you definitely do have something to share about this, because your career also shows a talent for reinvention. So what advice do you also have for non-traditional background students?
Yeah, actually, I really like the point that Italy made, which is um, a normal background is boring. I mean, if you think about it, as a hiring manager or as an employer or whatever, you want to bring on the table, you want to sorry, you want to bring talent that can see maybe problem in different perspective. And just having somebody that maybe has a medicine background like Hillary, or somebody else that has a sport background or even a lawyer background, just allow you to just see the same problem with different perspective, which eventually gonna just allow you to um, have have a have like an edge for whatever product or whatever problem you're trying to solve. And that thing is very valuable. And yeah, talking about my experience, uh, I think that unlike Hillary, I don't have the love for tech, honestly, but I have the love for challenge. So for me, knowing that that would have been a very big challenge for me, that eventually would have benefit me in the long run, it is something that very pushing me just to move forward and just get better every day. You know, as I mentioned before, I went through a sport, a product management, and also I'm doing like side project. You know, I just started my own venture, which allowed me just to bring all the skills and all the knowledge I was able to put together in the last 7, 10 years, just in user and just to in the market where I can benefit other people, but also benefit myself without having a quote unquote standard employer. Even though if you have an agency, you still have different employers, which are the different clients that you have to serve in every every given moment.
Thank you for that, Levi. Hillary mentioned something really by the way, but I want to take the chance to ask you, Levi, what was a networking opportunity that you seized as a student that you are most grateful for? Because we are students, we tend to focus on our courses, and sometimes we easily forget that even in OPIT, when I ask some students, do you know any students? Like I connect with the students and they tell me, I my aspiration is to become a software developer. And I know many students in OPIT who are software developers. So I'm like, have you ever connected with any of them? They're like, no. So I see so much value in network. So I want to understand if this has maybe been your case during your program. Are there any networking opportunities that helped you? I want to understand if you had a concrete experience with this.
Of course. So let's do a step back first. So I was lucky enough to work in different companies in the last 7 years. I worked in 3, 4 companies in different countries. So I met literally thousands of people. And meeting thousands of people really allow you to getting to know different culture and also getting to know different people and just different people in different career, which eventually Since the world is big, but at the same time is small. In Italy, we say tutto il mondo è paese. Eventually, they can help you to just get the reference or just get some tips in whatever job you're trying to get or whatever new industry you try to get in. So, following this point, I really believe that connecting with as many students as you can on OPIT, but not only on OPIT, on everywhere is a very key thing because, as you said before, you never know when you might need the help, but you shouldn't connect them just to get help for them, just to build a mutual connection, which can be you know, a student connection, can be also a friendship connection, but eventually can also become a work environment connection. So starting by from LinkedIn, or also starting from Slack, which is like our private. Sorry, Discord, which is our private server, is just at least I think for me a good step just to connect with different people, getting to know different people, and also build the relationship that eventually gonna be benefit both sides in the future.
That's beautiful. Um, I'm curious. I want to ask you the question, both of you, whoever wants to answer. I know that one thing about the tech field is that it changes really quick. So, while you are student, how do you stay updated on trends? So I believe that let me complete my question. And what's one skill that, for example, you think you found to be the most important as your technical knowledge?
When I can move forward, but I want first say something that I forgot to say before Stefania regarding the networking. Guys, if you can, I mean, not if you can, please take the time to attend the office hours, getting to know the professor. Take advantage of it. I mean, you have great people that, if they had to be a consultant, will charge hundreds of euros per hour. You just help
Right.
them. Just get to know them. Just ask questions for your own project or also for whatever you want. They are there for you. For me, it's stunning that almost 90% of students don't take advantage of it when those people, those professors are there every other week just for you. So please take advantage, get to know the people, get to know the professor because it's always something that you can learn from them. Always. And
That's
the question
brilliant.
you were saying, Stefania, which was again, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm saying that how do you keep yourself updated on trends? That is because the tech world actually moves really fast. And what you know today is not really relevant tomorrow. So I want to understand how you keep yourself updated on trends.
At least on my end, since I'm doing a bachelor, which is the foundation that eventually all those trends are built upon, I'm not focusing too much on trends. I'm just
Mhm.
focusing on studying whatever I'm studying because as long as you have the foundation, then you can pick up those trends anytime. Even if you start picking up the first trend now, but in 6 months, the trend might change again. But the
Mhm.
foundation, which are the one that you're studying those 3 years in the bachelor, gonna stay the same for good. So I'm just focused on the foundation without worrying too much about the trend.
Hilary, do you have a thank you, Levi. Do you have anything to add on that? And do you also have any advice for our new student? You have been there. Okay, so you started your program and you were also looking into changing career, starting. I mean, we call this a session launching your career, and you were looking forward to that. So, do you have any advice for students who are in your same position some years back?
Well, you're never gonna be 100% ready. It's it can be scary too. Like you don't know if it's gonna be the right move, if it's going to be the best decision. It's never going to be exactly that, but are you willing to always put your best foot forward? Cause oh my gosh, I don't it's never gonna be 100%. You're never gonna be 100% ready. Just go knock on the door. there will be rejections along the way, but then you go back and you get capacity, and then you come back and keep knocking. The capacity you're getting would be going to learn more, going to get more information, what's going on now, what's like the required skill, what are people looking for. You go back, you learn, you come back, you knock. After a while, like we keep saying this thing in my house. You go, you get like a sledgehammer, and then you come back and knock. If the answer was no the first time, you keep knocking until you bring, if there's no way you would bring like a wrecking ball to the gates to knock it down, and then you still get told no. At the most they will be so impressed, like, oh my gosh, who is this person? So you keep going to get capacity. One day it's gonna be a yes. And it's not that long. I feel like every time you put your best foot forward, every time you go gain a new skill, you're adding to yourself. And sometimes your paths might change, but that skill you added to yourself would also be beneficial in the long run. So don't wait to be 100% ready. It's a myth. It's never gonna work. You're always gonna be scared saying, "Oh yeah, but this is imperfect. Oh yeah, but this needs to be, you know." And I'm like that too, so I get it. If something is not 100% perfect, I'm always overthinking it. But you just need to jump off the cliff. You know, there are people who, especially when you're starting up, everybody was there too. Everybody was at that point as well. Don't be scared to walk into a room and speak your mind and say, look, this is how I am. I need your help. Everybody will be willing to help you. Most people will be willing to help you. I will change that. Most people will be willing to help you. You would always find somebody willing to lend you a hand, but you should just not be afraid to ask.
Wow, that is really deep, Hillary. I completely agree with you because sometimes when I tell students, you can actually connect with people that you don't know for informational interviews. They're like, really? Yes. I have connected with people who I didn't completely know on LinkedIn because they had a path. I mean, they had an experience that was interesting for me, and I wanted to know more. I connected with people who were working in companies that were interesting for me, and I connected with them and say, hey, do you mind? Do you mind if I book just 15-minute session with you to ask you questions about your company? Because, and they were like, yes, sure. So the worst thing that they can do, as you were saying, Hillary, is no. And
Yeah.
that doesn't hurt. Yeah, you've just
Yeah.
tried.
I also want to add to what you're saying. Like, I promise, it's not going to reach five people. One person out of those five people would say yes, would agree to help you. Like, not everybody. And it's funny because on LinkedIn, a lot of people are so open to help and to like share
Yes.
information with you. You would rarely find a person you wouldn't they wouldn't respond. Nobody's gonna tell you no. But like almost everybody I've sent a message to, even like CEOs of companies, they would respond. They would tell you, okay, yeah, this and this is not my field, but I would refer you to this person. They like to see, but come with like come showing initiative, like you've done this and you've done this and you're looking for like more insights on to how, like, or if am I missing something, this is what I've done already, am I missing something, so that you show initiative, like you've taken initiative already on your own, and this is what you're looking to find. And also kudos to the new students coming in, because I've gotten a lot of uh messages on LinkedIn asking like, "Oh, I see that you're doing this and this. How do I do this? Is it worth it? Like, should I take this step?" Things like that. So everybody now is waking up to say, "Okay, look, I can do this and I can be here." And a lot of companies are looking for new recruits as well. They're looking for people to fill in the gap, people that are showing initiative and are coming to say, look, I'm a fast learner, I'm adaptable. How you present yourself also matters. So take that step. It's good. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but yeah.
Awesome. As you are searching, companies are also searching. So you don't put yourself in a position where you're like desperate and like the you are you feel like you need to you need to sell yourself to companies, but companies are also searching for the right person. You just need to make them understand why you're the right person. Levi, do you have any advice to share with our students? And let me just say this, guys, you can use the link in the chat. I think it's splitted, but you can copy the whole link to jump into the conversation. Or you can use the chat to ask Hillary and Levi questions. I have just been asking questions because I cannot start by saying ask questions. I just wanted to just create the atmosphere for you then to jump in and ask any questions that you may have for them. So feel free to do that. Levi, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I want to add a point that really was kind of a revelation for me in the last year or so, because even though I was interacting with, I was already in tech, quote unquote, I was always scared. I mean, not really comfortable on doing any coding or anything. At least for me, going through a structured path like this bachelor just allow me to understand that whatever topic or whatever thing which sounds very technical from the outside, when you start getting into the topic, and when you start to break the topic in small pieces, you start to understand that anything can really be learned and can be built. This is something that really inspirational, because now you might see, okay, maybe a super job offer like the one that went viral the last year, the AI product manager from Netflix, which was paid almost for a million a year. Yes, it sounds like a great offer, but if you just see the job description and just the technicalities needed for the job, and then you break it down, and then you start to work backward just to understand whatever you have to do in order to get there. Yes, it might take you 10, 15 years, but those are all skills that you can learn step by step by, yes, going through courses and then building your experience and then being more strategic and just getting to know people so that you can eventually end up to that position. So my point is that, at least for me, having this structured path really allowed me to be less fearful on big technicalities that I thought back then weren't really reachable. But now I can know that, okay, in few weeks or few months, if I really put my head in, I can understand it, or at least I know how to move in order to just having a better understanding of it. And regarding the advice, Stefania, if I have to give some advice to Levi, Levi from the last year, will tell him to do all the exercise given by the professor, even more the programming exercise, guys. Them do all the exercise given by the professor, programming, and you know 1 hour a day. Just do it. I swear, guys. Eventually, it's gonna pay off. If you're gonna try to cut corners, not only with the exercise, but maybe even with assignment, thinking that, okay, I'm gonna maybe let AI help me just do this and that. Eventually, it's gonna catch back on you. You know, you cannot you cannot fake your knowledge when assignment or project are very complex. You know, so please go through those very boring and painful task and exercise given by the professor, because eventually, from the third, fourth, and fifth term, gonna really help you to have a solid understanding and basis just to build up and just be ready to pick up whatever project or assignment you have to deal with. Yes.
Yes, and definitely everything will pop up once you start also working in the field. Like sometimes when we are studying, we studying because we think like that we need to have good marks, good grades. That is good, but we also forget that we need to assimilate, we need to metabolize what we are studying, and we need to practice, and we need to even do all the side projects and everything because we need to build also ourselves. No, so the advice that you're sharing, Levi, is really, really important. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Hilary. Thank you, Levi. I do not see any questions. I don't know if our students do not have them, or they will reconnect with you in a separate place. I'll just leave maybe 1 minute for you to for us to understand if any question is on its way coming. But in the meantime, I just want to say that thank you so much for being with us this evening to share your own experiences. I think that connecting with people who have been where we want to get to is very important because it makes us understand that it's doable. Maybe it's really hard, but it's doable because if other people have done it, then it means that definitely I can do it. Hillary, you were saying that when, for example, it happened to me when I start a new position in a multinational company. I was looking at everyone and they were going up upside down. I was like, oh my goodness. And then I thought that they all had their first day. So, talking to people who had been in my role in the past and that had grown within that role helped me a lot. We have a quest. Okay, no, Jergo is writing. No questions. Still processing everything you said, but I would like to say thank you for all the advice. I appreciate your time and knowledge. Well, I do appreciate your time as well. So thank you for expressing also your appreciation, guys. Let me just paste here in the chat the page also about the mentoring program. I I'm so much invested in this program because I have done it in the past and I've seen how much valuable it was for our students. I think that maybe I'm missing the first part of the link. Okay. Okay. Because when you click and you see the page, you will realize that we have 12 students, and I hope that it will grow, who have made themselves available to connect with OPIT students. Some of them are alumni, some of them are students, and they are available to connect with students anytime, so you can book sessions with them to ask questions about their experience. We were saying that you can connect with people on LinkedIn on different platforms, but we do have many experienced students at OPIT as well. For the nature of university that we have, that we offer online programs, many people are seasoned professionals who are in our programs. Some of them have maybe not so many years of work experience, but they are even experts in their field. So use really this program. I hope that you all see the value in it, in connecting with people who can mentor you and that can. I have had mentors in the past and they have helped me. Today I was sharing some of the feedback that I did receive in the past and how they have helped me in my career. So feel free to use that. I'll share the link in on Canvas where you can book sessions with students here in the chat as well. So Meek is asking, for Levi, saying you have started your own business, how have you leveraged used being a student in this regard? And what exactly is it you business that your business does?
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Mike. So let's start with the for from the third point. So my business is a AI automation agency. Okay, and yes, you might have heard about it from YouTube and all those resources, whatever. But actually, going back to the second point, how did I use the leverage and use this being a student here? And most of people going through that business, they're just doing it by following whatever resource they're finding online or whatever YouTuber they happen to follow. At least for me, was the opposite because I'm actually going through an AI data science course. And going back to your first point, I literally, as I said before, I used leverage the knowledge of the professor, like the professor the database professor, or the one, the researcher, which does data structure, and also in the third term, the introduction of AI, just to ask a ton of questions that eventually helped me just to set up many technicality gaps that I had, which I leverage eventually to build up my business and some project that I couldn't really understand. So back to the point, the first one was and just being a student studying data science AI really set you apart among other people that just started just for the sake of starting without any proper background. The professor, which I took experience and knowledge from just to understand some technicality I had, and the business, as I say, which is a automation agency, which I help small businesses automate some boring stuff. Let's say, let's put it like this. I hope this is clear, Mike.
Okay, thank
Nice,
you,
thank you.
lady. So I think that we can bring this session to the end. We will reconnect in different events throughout the year. The next one is going to be on the 30th October, and it is with a recruiter, okay, who is going to walk through all the different stages of an application in a company. So, from the job search, so designing a strategy to how to prepare your resume, to how to prepare for an interview, the interview with the HR, with the tech team, to the moment you get the offer in your hands. So I think that how to stay relevant in all the different phases of your search and how to stand out. So, how to practice. So, we would do role plays during the session. So, I just wanted to spoil this. This is just a teaser. In the few days, I will send you an official information about the event. It's already confirmed. That is why I'm sharing. And I hope to meet some of you also in one to one sessions. And please do also connect with other students that have relevant experience to your field, because I think this is true value. So our time is up. Thank you all for connecting. I've seen that you have stayed connected for all the time. Thank you, Hilary. Thank you, Levi. And I hope that you have a nice evening. For some of you, it's morning, afternoon. So at any stage of the day you are, enjoy it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Ciao,
so
ciao.
much.
Ciao, ciao.